Ladies and gentlemen, what if I told you that the solutions to your problems are already within you? That the very challenges you face today hold the key to unlocking a deeper sense of peace, joy, and purpose. I want to take you on a journey of understanding, one where the power of trust in God becomes your ultimate tool for transformation. We live in a world that often pushes us to solve problems with our minds, with our strategies, our to-do lists, and our plans. But what if I told you that true power doesn't come from forcing an answer, but from opening up to a deeper wisdom? A wisdom that resides not only within the world, but within your heart and spirit, because that's where God is. And God is already working on your behalf, even when you don't see it, even when the problems feel too heavy to bear. You see, trust isn't just about waiting for things to change. It's about a profound shift in perception, a shift that redefines what is possible for you. It's the willingness to let go of the burden of trying to control everything and surrender to a higher source. Trusting in God means realizing that you are not alone in this journey. You are not the sum of your struggles or the weight of your burdens. You are the presence of divinity unfolding in the present moment. What if instead of seeing problems as obstacles, we began to see them as opportunities for growth, as invitations to deepen our connection with the divine? Every challenge you face is a moment where God can work through you, teaching you, expanding your awareness, and transforming your life. You don't have to force the solution. You don't have to figure it all out by yourself. Trust that God is aligning the perfect circumstances, the perfect people, and the perfect moments for your growth. This doesn't mean we sit back and wait for things to happen. No. It means we show up in the present moment with the understanding that we are co-creators with God. We are part of a larger design, one that transcends time and space. And when we trust that, when we let go of fear and control, we align with something greater than ourselves. Suddenly, we begin to tap into an infinite source of wisdom, compassion, and clarity. I want to emphasize something. Trust is not passive, it is active. It requires a deep inner commitment to surrendering your will to the divine plan. It requires faith that no matter how big your problems feel, they are not bigger than God's capacity to resolve them. You are never beyond God's reach, never too far gone to be helped, never too broken to be healed. All you need to do is trust, open your heart, and believe. And as you begin to trust, something incredible happens. The energy of faith, of knowing that everything is already working out, transforms your inner state. You start to move through life with a sense of peace, even amidst the chaos. Your thoughts begin to shift. The anxiety that once held you tight starts to loosen. New possibilities begin to emerge. You will notice the solutions that were always there, waiting to be recognized. Remember, problems are not permanent. They are temporary experiences that reveal the strength of your spirit and the depth of your connection to God. When you trust in that truth, you can walk with unwavering confidence, knowing that you are supported in every step. So I ask you, what would it look like if you stopped trying to solve everything yourself and truly trusted that God has a plan for you? What would it feel like to release the need to control and instead surrender to the process of becoming who you were meant to be? As you leave here today, carry this truth in your heart. God is always with you. Your problems do not define you. They are the very stepping stones leading you to your breakthrough. Trust in God. He will solve your problems, not by force, but by divine grace and love. Through you and within you. Trusting in the divine plan means understanding that there is a higher purpose at work in your life, one that goes beyond your immediate circumstances or your personal desires. Often, when we face difficulties or challenges, it's easy to get lost in the emotions of frustration, confusion, or even despair. We think that our problems are random or that we're somehow being punished. But when we trust in the divine plan, we shift our perspective. We begin to recognize that these challenges are not obstacles placed in our way by chance, but part of a much larger design that we may not yet fully understand. At the core of trust in the divine plan is the belief that everything in our lives, no matter how difficult it seems, is happening for a reason. Every experience, whether positive or negative, is an opportunity for growth, learning, and expansion. When we trust that the divine has a plan for us, we release the need to control every aspect of our lives. We stop trying to force outcomes and instead allow ourselves to be guided by something greater than ourselves. This trust doesn't mean passivity. It's an active choice to accept that there is a wisdom beyond our own limited understanding at play. It's a decision to trust that even though we may not see the full picture, everything is unfolding exactly as it needs to. There's an undeniable peace that comes with trusting in the divine plan. It's the peace of knowing that we're not alone in this journey. We don't have to carry the weight of our problems entirely by ourselves. Trusting in God's plan means surrendering the illusion of control and embracing the idea that the universe, or whatever higher power you believe in, has a purpose for you and is orchestrating events in your life with infinite wisdom and love. When you trust this, you can face even the most challenging situations with a sense of calm, knowing that they are part of your greater evolution. In moments of uncertainty, when the future feels unclear and we're unsure of the next steps, trusting in the divine plan becomes even more crucial. It's easy to get overwhelmed and feel like we're wandering aimlessly. But when we remember that everything is happening as it should, we stop trying to impose our limited view of reality onto a situation that may be working in ways we cannot yet comprehend. We start to realize that sometimes the answers we seek are not meant to be revealed immediately, and that timing, patience, and faith play an essential role in the process. This trust also allows us to embrace the unknown with open arms. Often, the fear of the unknown keeps us stuck in a state of indecision or anxiety. But when we trust in God's plan, we can step forward into uncertainty without fear, knowing that we're being led exactly where we need to go. We stop worrying about the how and instead focus on the why and the what of the journey. Why we're here, what we're meant to learn, and what the ultimate purpose of our lives. This shift in focus liberates us from the anxiety of not having all the answers and frees us to take steps with confidence, even when the path ahead is unclear. Trusting in the divine plan doesn't mean that life will always be easy or that challenges will disappear. In fact, sometimes the most difficult moments are the ones where our trust is tested the most. But it's in those moments that the power of trust becomes most apparent. It's when we have no other choice but to surrender that we experience a profound sense of freedom. We may not understand why certain things are happening, but we can trust that they are leading us to exactly where we need to be. The more we practice this trust, the more we begin to see the beauty in the unfolding of life, even in the midst of struggle. Through trust, we learn to rely on something deeper than our own fears and doubts. It's a trust that allows us to move through life with a sense of inner knowing, a knowing that no matter what we face, we are always being guided. Trusting in the divine plan requires courage, faith, and a willingness to let go of the need to control every outcome. But once we surrender to it, we open ourselves to a life of deeper peace, greater clarity, and a connection to something far beyond our own understanding. Surrendering control is one of the most powerful and transformative actions you can take in your life. It may seem counterintuitive at first, especially in a world that values independence, self-reliance, and the ability to shape one's own destiny. We are taught from a young age to be in control, to plan every step of our journey, and to create our futures through sheer willpower. But the truth is, when we try to control everything, we often end up more anxious, more exhausted, and less connected to the true source of our power. Surrendering control doesn't mean giving up or becoming passive. It means releasing the grip of fear and trustfully allowing life to unfold as it was meant. When we surrender control, we shift from the mindset of, I have to make everything happen, to, I trust that what needs to happen will happen in its own time and way. This shift is not about abandoning responsibility or effort. Rather, it is about aligning your actions with the flow of life, rather than resisting or forcing outcomes that may not be in alignment with your highest good. It's recognizing that there are forces at play far greater than our own limited understanding. And instead of pushing against them, we allow ourselves to be guided by them. Surrendering control can be one of the most liberating experiences of your life because it frees you from the constant need to micromanage every aspect of your existence. For most of us, the impulse to control comes from a place of fear. Fear of uncertainty, fear of failure, fear of not being good enough, fear of what might happen if we let go. These fears can manifest in all areas of life, our relationships, our careers, our health, and can leave us feeling trapped in a cycle of overthinking, stress, and indecision. The desire to control is a defense mechanism, a way of creating a sense of safety in a world that can feel unpredictable and chaotic. But in truth, the more we try to control, the more we create resistance in our lives, which often makes situations more difficult than they need to be. When we choose to surrender control, we begin to open up to a greater sense of peace. We allow ourselves to trust that the universe or God is working on our behalf, orchestrating the events of our lives with infinite wisdom and love. Surrendering control is about trusting that we don't have to have all the answers, that we don't have to figure it all out right now. It's about letting go of the fear that things won't work out, and instead choosing to trust that, even in moments of uncertainty, everything is unfolding perfectly. This does not mean that we sit back and do nothing. Rather, it means we take action from a place of clarity and trust, rather than from a place of fear or desperation. One of the biggest challenges when it comes to surrendering control is the feeling that we are giving up power. The truth is, surrendering control is one of the most empowering things you can do because it connects you to a deeper power, one that is aligned with the flow of life itself. When we try to control everything, we are operating from a limited perspective, often driven by ego and fear. But when we surrender, we are choosing to operate from a place of faith and trust. This allows us to access a higher level of wisdom, one that is not constrained by the limits of our individual minds, but is instead connected to something greater than ourselves. By surrendering control, we step into a flow state where we no longer fight against life, but move with it. This process of surrender also invites us to trust our intuition more deeply. For an inner guidance to come through. Our intuition, that quiet voice inside, can only be heard when we are not overwhelmed by the noise of trying to force outcomes. The more we surrender, the more attuned we become to the gentle nudges and inspirations that guide us toward the right path. In surrendering, we let go of our attachment to specific outcomes and instead focus on doing our best in the present moment. This focus on the now, rather than obsessing over the future or dwelling on the past, creates a sense of inner calm and clarity. Surrendering control also allows us to be more present in our life. When we're constantly trying to control everything, we are often stuck in our heads, worried about what might happen or trying to figure out how to prevent undesirable outcomes. This constant mental chatter keeps us from fully experiencing the richness of the present moment. But when we surrender, we free ourselves from this mental clutter. We become more attuned to the people around us, the beauty of the world, and the simple joys of life. We learn to trust that the present moment is enough and that everything we need will be provided in its own time. Through surrender, we begin to live with more grace and ease. We let go of the need to manipulate and control every situation, and instead, we trust in the flow of life. We allow ourselves to experience the fullness of each moment, knowing that there is a higher power at work. Viewing problems as opportunities for growth requires a fundamental shift in how we perceive adversity in our lives. For most people, when faced with a challenge, the instinct is to resist, to fight against the discomfort, and to hope that the situation will just go away. Problems, in this sense, are seen as things to be avoided or eliminated as quickly as possible. However, when we begin to look at problems through a different lens, we realize that they are not obstacles in our path, but are instead essential experiences designed to help us grow, evolve, and become stronger versions of ourselves. Instead of viewing difficulties as punishments or setbacks, we can choose to see them as invitations for deeper understanding and transformation. Every problem we face carries with it an opportunity to learn something new about ourselves and the world around us. It's through overcoming challenges that we discover our true potential. In the midst of struggle, we often uncover hidden strengths, talents, and qualities that we never knew existed. Problems, therefore, are not just random misfortune. They are part of the natural rhythm of life, guiding us toward the next phase of our personal development. It is in facing adversity that we develop resilience, patience, compassion, and wisdom, qualities that cannot be cultivated in times of ease or comfort. When we begin to see problems as opportunities, we take the focus off the difficulty itself and shift it toward what we can learn from the experience. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? We start asking, what can I learn from this? How can this challenge help me grow? This shift in perspective opens the door to creative problem solving, innovation, and new insights. We begin to understand that the discomfort we feel during a difficult time is temporary, and it is often through this discomfort that we are able to break free from old patterns, limiting beliefs, and ways of thinking that no longer serve us. By viewing problems as opportunities, we also cultivate a sense of inner empowerment. Instead of feeling victimized by life's challenges, we begin to take ownership of our responses and actions. We realize that while we cannot control every external circumstance, we do have the power to choose how we react to those circumstances. This understanding gives us the freedom to approach problems with a sense of curiosity and openness, rather than fear and resistance. We become active participants in our own lives rather than passive observers, trusting that each challenge is guiding us towards something better, even if we don't fully understand it in the moment. Additionally, problems often bring us face to face with our fears, insecurities, and limiting beliefs. When things are going well, it's easy to feel confident and at ease, but when a problem arises, we may feel vulnerable or uncertain. These moments of vulnerability offer us the opportunity to examine the beliefs and fears that have been holding us back. It's only when we are forced to confront the things that make us uncomfortable that we can begin to heal and release them. Each problem presents an opportunity for deep self-reflection and self-discovery. The more we lean into these moments, the more we uncover the layers of our true selves, shedding old patterns and beliefs that no longer align with who we are becoming. Problems can also serve as a mirror, reflecting aspects of our inner world that need attention. For example, a relationship issue might reveal unresolved feelings of insecurity or fear of vulnerability. Financial struggles may highlight our relationship with abundance or scarcity. Health challenges might bring to light the need for self-care or a shift in habits. By viewing problems as mirrors of our inner landscape, we become more attuned to the areas of our lives that need healing or improvement. Instead of reacting to problems with frustration or avoidance, we approach them with curiosity, seeking to understand the deeper lessons they have to offer. As we continue to grow in our understanding of how problems contribute to our personal evolution, we also develop a greater sense of trust in the process of life. We begin to understand that every problem we encounter is an integral part of the unfolding of our journey. Challenges don't happen randomly. They are placed on our path for a reason. When we trust that each difficulty is an opportunity for growth, we can face even the most overwhelming situations with a sense of calm and assurance. We know that no matter how difficult the road may seem, we have the strength, resilience, and wisdom to navigate it. In this way, problems stop being something to avoid or fear, and instead become stepping stones on the path to our higher selves. The more we embrace this perspective, the more empowered and capable we become in the face of adversity. We begin to see that life is not a series of random events, but a journey of growth, transformation, and self-discovery, with every problem serving as a guide, leading us to greater wisdom, strength, and understanding. Co-creating with God is a powerful concept that shifts our perception of ourselves and our place in the world. For many, the idea of co-creation may seem foreign, even paradoxical. How can we as human beings play a role in the creation of our lives when so much of the universe operates beyond our control? The answer lies in recognizing that, while we are not the sole architects of our existence, we are active participants in the process, collaborating with a higher power that is guiding, shaping, and supporting us every step of the way. Co-creating with God means recognizing that we are not separate from the divine, but rather deeply connected to it, with the power to align our actions, thoughts, and intentions with the flow of the universe. When we co-create with God, we embrace the idea that we are partners in the unfolding of our lives. This partnership is not one-sided. It requires our active engagement, trust, and surrender. It's not about dictating how things should unfold, but about tuning into the guidance and wisdom of the divine and taking inspired action in the world. We are invited to meet God halfway, doing our part in the creation process while also surrendering to the wisdom and timing of the divine. This shift in perspective frees us from the pressure of trying to control every aspect of our lives and helps us recognize that the universe or God is always working in our favor. One of the first steps in co-creating with God is aligning ourselves with our higher purpose. Many people spend their lives chasing external goals or societal expectations, believing that success or fulfillment lies in achieving certain milestones. However, true fulfillment comes when we align our actions with our deepest values and passions, those things that resonate with our soul's purpose. By connecting with our inner selves, we can discern the direction we are meant to go. And from there, we begin to take steps that are in harmony with that greater vision. When we are in alignment with our purpose, we move through life with a sense of clarity, knowing that every action we take is in service to the highest good. Co-creation also requires us to be open to divine guidance. The act of listening, truly listening to the subtle whispers of intuition, is an essential aspect of working in partnership with God. Intuition is often the voice of the divine within us, nudging us toward the right decisions, people, and opportunities. However, in our busy, fast-paced world, it's easy to dismiss this inner voice in favor of logic, reason, and external influences. Co-creating with God means learning to trust and follow that still small. When we co-create from a place of gratitude, we attract more of what we need to continue on our journey of growth and fulfillment. Through the act of co-creation, we step into a deeper understanding of our role in the universe. This resilience comes from knowing that we are supported by a higher power, one that is always working for our highest good, even when we can't see it. Faith also plays a crucial role in our relationship.